What a night. What an event. Backlash 2025 had the potential and for the most part lived up to it as one of the best pay-per-views WWE's put on in a very long time. And for the most part, it has lived up to it. There was some good, great, amazing, incredible, and there was also some what? And we're gonna break it all down in a virtual instant reaction. You already know the finish of the main event. I had to cool down before hitting record, but we'll get to that when we get there. First, we start with the first match of the night at Backlash 2025, the Fatal 4-Way for the title. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre versus Damien Priest versus LA Knight. Yeah. And, well, the match started off a little slow. I'm not always a big fan of Fatal 4-Ways. I've just I don't hate them like as much as like I don't really hate them, but it can get to be a cluster. This one though, it was better than what most Fatal 4s are. So one of the things I do want to point out is when Fatu gave the what is essentially the stink faces in the corners, the acoustics on there, the mic being the perfect spot, sound like a cannon going off every time you hit it. Great job by the production crew. Great job by everyone involved on that to make that sound big. Make that boom. Sounded like a cannon going off every time you hit it. So, good presentation with WWE on that part. Good execution by everybody. Now, they had a little bit of a finishing parade with kind of akin to I believe it was Backlash. I do believe it was at a Backlash in 2005 with Orton, Edge, Cena, and Shawn. I believe it was those four. I didn't go back to look it up, but as many of know, or some may remember, Cena hits, I believe it was Edge with an AA. Then Shawn, in a last ditch effort, super kicks John. Shawn collapses to the floor. John falls right on Edge. 1, 2, 3. Cena retains. Almost had a moment like that. Except with this, it would have been a changing of the title. This would have been a very interesting way to do it, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. I think with where everything's going, you didn't have to have. You don't really need a U.S. title on Fatu. I think it's good to keep it on him. But if he was going to lose the belt, that would have been the perfect way to do it. But there was a kick out, and we continue on. Eventually, we get McIntyre and Priest just going at each other, going out of the ring, out into the crowd, with a huge suplex off the sound equipment. That was, it was a South of Heaven off the sound equipment. It wasn't a suplex. That's why I make notes. But yeah, so South of Heaven off what they said was the sound equipment, and that it pretty much eliminated both of them. LA Knight going for the going for the elbow drop off the rope onto the announce table. That's what I'm assuming. But Jacob was saved by Solo Sikoa. And then we have the debut of, I believe they said it was Jack Cobb. I'm not too much into the IWC because I don't really care what I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't want to know too much outside. That way I can be truly surprised with somebody coming in. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. But Jack Cobb comes in, beats the hell out of LA Knight. Jacob Fatu looked just as confused as everybody else, but he retains. This is something. This is interesting. So now you have Solo. Looks like he's sort of rebuilding something here. And is it an attempt to try to dethrone Jacob Fatu as U.S. champion using Jack Cobb and maybe the Tongans? I know I'm butchering the name. Leave me alone. It's late at night. And kind of have like and pretty much replace Jacob with Jack and continue to kind of dishonor the bloodline essentially by turning their back on family in a true fashion. That is what I'm hoping. I so want this fight so bad between Solo and Jacob. This is going to be one hell of a fight when it finally comes, and I'm assuming it's going to be at SummerSlam. But the match overall, I think it was very good. And what I'm going to do for the pay-per-views, I might do it for Raw. I'm not quite sure because there's a lot of things that just happen to progress the story. So it's very hard to do this. But I'm going to take a page out of Dave Meltzer's book. Except I'm going to do it better because I don't have my shoulders. I'm not shoulder deep inside Kenny Omega's rear end or Tony Khan's rear end. And I'm going to start giving 7 out of 5 stars to everybody under the sun. So with the Fatal 4-Way, I'm going to give it 4 stars, 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was, I like the match. It started a little slow. But the match itself, blown away, really good. Good job to everyone involved. Very, very pleased with everything that happened here. And a really good job by extending the storyline between Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Now, the next match was for the women's IC title. Irish woman versus Irish woman. Lyra, Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. And oh my God, this match was incredible. This was the match of the night. This is a match of the year candidate. So you had the good combo wrestling at the start. Then Lyra put Becky into like a Boston Crab surfboard kind of thing. Kind of combo. I like that move. Then you had a kind of this surfboard deal going on with Lyra putting Becky in surfboard after surfboard after surfboard. Say that 3 times fast, I dare you. Good Lord. And I am extremely impressed with Lyra. I mean, she is a superstar. She is the supernova. She is the next to take the women's division to that next level. Between her and Roxanne Perez, those two are the next big heavy hitters. And I am very excited to see what Lyra does for the next decade to come. And then finally, Becky, after getting beaten up for the first part of the match, she finally gets it turned around, turns it into a brawl. Had a little heel moment that I like. Becky has the knee over the back of Lyra's neck, pressing it against the bottom rope. Fight spills outside. Becky starts taunting Lyra's fiance, which that was a nice touch. That was a nice touch, especially after, like I mentioned on Monday, Becky said, "You wouldn't even have your fiance if it wasn't for me." Then Lyra gets all fired up and then gets sent to the ring post. You have a slap fight. Lyra hulking up again. And then does a stalling suplex. And this is nuts. A stalling suplex off the top rope. Well, off the middle rope, but I think it was the top rope, actually. I don't think my notes are wrong in that one. That's incredible. The amount of balance, the amount of trust within these two women are incredible. That is one of the most impressive things that I've seen. Having a stalling suplex on the ropes. Period. And then you have then you had a little bit of a moment with with Lyra kind of getting ahead of herself on the spots, which I'm not going to take anything away from there. That there's a lot going on. She gets a little ahead of herself. Heads towards the rope. Like, oh, right, I got to do this real quick. Then she goes up to the top rope. Becky gets the knees up. They start trading blows. Becky gets goes for an armbar. Lyra reverses. Becky reverses back to the disarmer. Becky attempts the manhandle slam. Lyra reverses it, but then Becky lands it on the second attempt. 1, 2, kick out. Becky loses it, goes for the chair. Uses the chair to distract the ref to expose the turnbuckle. Lyra blocks it, hits the moonsault. Near fall. And then Lyra kicks out of the manhandle slam after bouncing off the second turnbuckle. And Becky absolutely loses it. Her and Jessica Carr are going at it. They are yelling back and forth. Good heel stuff. And then Carr goes to find the pad. Becky gets Lyra with a thumb to the eye. Goes for the manhandle slam. Lyra gets Becky with a roll up. 1, 2, 3. Got her. And then, of course, Becky, unbelievably angry, loses her mind. Starts beating up on Lyra. Gets her in a disarmer. Holds it. It looked like Lyra was kind of holding her nose. Might have had a broken nose. I'm not sure. I did not like the real non-selling of the disarmer while the hold was in. You gotta be screaming. I mean, for crying out loud. The arm is being bent back past what it's supposed to be able to do. You gotta sell that. You gotta sell it. You gotta build that anguish. That way you can draw heat on Becky Lynch. Becky has no heat. The crowd is literally chanting a few weeks ago when Becky turned start doing manhandle slam after manhandle slam. The crowd is chanting one more time. One more time. And then Becky goes in and does it again to get the crowd back going. But yeah, I mean, it was the only thing that I have on that is the disarmer. Got to sell it, build that anguish, build that heat up on Becky. Other than that, from bell to bell, 5 stars. Beautiful match, unbelievable match. Good job by Becky, Lyra. That is how you do that roll up pin. That is how you book something like that. Yeah, that incredible match. They go back and forth the whole time. Just incredible stuff all the way through. And it takes just catching Becky off guard for that split second to get the 3 count. But like I said, Lyra, Valkyria is her. She is going to be the next top dog in the women's division. She is incredible. She is phenomenal. She is everything you look for in a star in the women's division. So, 5-star match by Becky and Lyra. Incredible job. Now, go on to the U.S. Championship match. Penta versus Dom. Very, very quick start. This match, loved it. Penta, he split the twins on the top rope. Dom turned a suicide dive into a DDT, which that's impressive. That's impressive. I mean, really for the first part of that half of that match, and for a lot of the match, really, Dom was out luchaing Penta. And then another impressive move, Penta off the top of the ring post hits Dom with a crossbody. And then a nice little homage to dearest Liv Morgan. Dom hits the Oblivion on Penta. Only gets a 2 count. And a weird moment by the commentary team. Baby cakes Liv Morgan, according to Wade Barrett. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that one, honestly. I don't know. Baby cakes as a pet name is very weird. Like, I could see, like, babe, baby, honey, something like that. But baby cakes is a little over that line. I like that kind of crosses into, like, weird territory. Well, not kind of, it does. But nonetheless, back to the action. Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer on the apron. And then Carlito comes out. He comes wandering out. Like he took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Comes wandering out. Distracts the ref. Where on the other end of the ring, JD McDonough and Finn Balor come in. They hold JD holds Penta. Finn was about to just start wailing on Penta, and then has the idea, I'm gonna go get a chair. He goes, gets the chair. By the time he comes back with the chair, the ref's already turned back around. Ref sees what's about to happen, throws everybody out. And then Finn starts arguing with the ref. While Finn's arguing with the ref, Chad Gable, who is Comes in with the loaded mask, headbutts Penta, and Dom retains the title. Now, what was interesting and wasn't picked up, at least commentary didn't say anything about it, Finn did not look happy. He looked angry. He looked like somebody just took his Lucky Charms. And God, this has got to blow up. This has got to start blowing up soon. I don't know what else you could possibly do to for this to happen. We'll see. But I mean, a blow up's got to be coming. And I think it's going to come during this program with AJ Styles. Because AJ and Finn, they have that connection with the Bullet Club. It's got to be coming. It has to be coming. So, Dom and Penta, I'm gonna say 4.5 star. I'm gonna say 4.5 stars. You got the despicable heel over. You continue this deal with Gable and his strange hatred of lucha wrestling, and you get in now. We'll get Penta and Chad Gable involved together, and get some sort of get that program going, because that's gonna get fun. Gable's very good. Penta's very good. I can't wait. I'm gonna say 4 stars with this one. Great job. And then you have Gunther versus Pat McAfee. And, well, it was what it was. I'm not going to go match to match. I'm not going to go, like, move for move on this one. Gunther had a pretty good hold on it. It was a little too back and forth for my liking. I wanted to see a lot. I just wanted to see total destruction. WMD style, like, oh my god, is he actually dead? Like, I want Michael Cole physically disturbed for the rest of the show after seeing what happened to Pat. I unfortunately, I don't see how this did really anything for Gunther. Everybody already loves Pat, so that really did nothing for Pat McAfee. It was just I don't know. I don't know what this was supposed to do. I'm wondering if the original plan was for Gunther to be potentially going after KO. That was probably next, but obviously KO was hurt, so that that wasn't going to happen, and this was just the quick put together, and we figure out how we move forward. So, and then we have the main event: John Cena versus Randy Orton, one final time. And what was a nice little heel move, Cena turned his back on Orton there at the beginning during the introductions. Turned his back, walked away, walked into the corner. Let him show that belt that he's got strapped backwards. And at the beginning, they lock up twice. Stays even. Cena holds his hand out, shake it. Orton foolishly shakes it. Cena, thumb to the eye. Well, Orton is not the goody two shoes that Cody Rhodes is. He returns it with a thumb right back to the eye. So, and then they lock up again in the ring. Cena tries a cheap shot. Orton catches it. Then Cena tries the tries to get out of the ring, walk away, and do all that whole deal. And that obviously Orton's gonna run him down. Got the Orton stomp, the methodical stomp to each and every limb, followed up with the knee drop that would make Triple H very, very proud. Then you have sleepers going back and forth. Then Orton breaks the last sleeper with a suplex. Got some shoulder tackles, 5-knuckle shuffle, a failed AA attempt. Orton turns it into a scoop slam. Hanging DDT turns it into a roll-up, which turns into the STF. Which Orton turns it into a hanging DDT. And then the Viper coils. Goes for the RKO, gets blocked into the AA RKO move that I mentioned that I wanted to see happen Monday night. And then you have the crowd chanting, "This is awesome." Trade blows. A second AA that gets kicked out of. Cena goes for another AA. Orton's able to grab the ropes. Cena goes for the shoulder tackle, gets caught with the RKO, and then goes for the punt. Cena counters it into the AA. Then Cena begins to mock Orton going for the punt. And then Orton counters that with an RKO. And then Cena countered the RKO, pushing Orton into the ref. Cena grabs the belt, comes to try to hit Cena. Or Cena goes to try to hit Orton with the belt. Catches him with the RKO. Ref beginning to wearily come back to. A slow count to 2. Crowd chants bull shnikes. But the very less cleaner version of that. Orton clears the announce table. They start arguing. Orton and the ref begins to argue. Cena pushes Orton into the ref. Ref bounces his dome off the steel steps. And then Cena goes back on the offense. Throws Orton into the ring post. And then Orton has Orton up for the AA. But Cena is able to reverse it and give John Cena the AA through the announce table. And then does it again through a normal table, all while the refs are down. And the refs chant, "This is awesome." Orton coils again. RKO cover. New ref comes running down the ramp, much like Charles Robinson in WrestleMania 24, except this ramp is not nearly as far, but still with the same result, 2 count. Orton begins arguing with the ref. Cena trying to use the belt. Orton ducks, hits the new ref. And so this is where things start going haywire. If it would have ended somewhere around there, Orton doesn't duck, gets hit with a belt, DQ, this match is over. Perfect match. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Awesome. Couldn't have asked for a better match. We got it. We got what we were expecting. Even better. Match would have been phenomenal. 5 stars. Perfect. Seal it up. Let's go home. Would have ended there. Perfection. Awesome. Unfortunately, it did not. It did not end there. Officials and Nick Aldis come running down. I think it was Shane Helms, Daivari, Jamie Noble. They all came down to try to help the ref. Even though they have another ref that is dead by the steps. But they like Eddie Ortango more, I guess. That would be my only explanation. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. screw Chad Patton, I guess. I think it was Chad Patton. But nonetheless, Orton and Aldis, they start going back and forth, and then Orton RKO's absolutely everybody. Orton looks over at Cena, sees that he's still down, and then Orton backs up to the corner, getting ready to punt Cena's head into the stratosphere. And this is where this match goes from 5 to 3. Real quick. R-Truth comes out, begs Orton not to do it, hits him with an RKO. Cena hits Orton with a belt, hits him with a low blow, then with the belt. Cena retains. trying to keep this clean. I'm seriously trying to keep this clean. It is one thing to do the funny backstage stuff with R-Truth. I mean, we all need the comedy relief. It's funny. It's fun. R-Truth not quite getting the whole thing. That's funny. I mean, R-Truth being the last Cena fan, screaming, "Let's go Cena," wanting to be like him when he grows up. That's all fun. That's fun. This is serious. This is not supposed to be the fun and games. This is for the world title. This is for your most prestigious belt. This is on on the grand stage. This is for all the marbles. And even more on top of that, because if Cena retires as the champion, no other champion is legit. And you have the class clown come in and completely wreck this. This did not do anything for anybody other than to make John Cena make R-Truth look even dumber. Completely taking the seriousness out of this match, and it damn near ruined the entire pay-per-view. I was so prepared to walk out of this. They could have ended this 1,000 different ways. And I would have been, oh, great match, great pay-per-view, awesome night. So thrilled, I can't wait to do this review. But to have the clown, the funny guy, come in and interfere, and it's so unbelievably stupid. I can't even put into words how stupid this is. Like I said, at the part where Cena uses the belt, accidentally takes out the ref. Orton doesn't duck. You get the 1, 2, 3 while the ref's looking the other way. Or it even ends in a DQ. Perfect. That's how you end the night. That's how everything gets all better. It's fine. And it opens up the door to do this one more time. Have a no DQ stipulation, whatever you want to call it, street fight, unsanctioned match, falls count anywhere, however you want to do it. But instead, you insert the comic relief to do this. unbelievably serious moment. You got to have some seriousness in pro wrestling, or else it's just a walking circus. It is a circus with violence. If you do not have some level of seriousness, this was this instantly turned into an unserious match. The belt became unserious here. It's this. I don't even know what to say. I mean, such a disappointing finish. And I really try to, in situations like this, to separate the body of work in the match itself from the finish if it turns out to be not very good. But this was too much. This was way too much. Whatever agent, whatever writer had this idea should have been shot down, laughed at, and given a pink slip. This plan should not have gone into action. And the only way to really save this is if Orton on Monday night leaves R-Truth in a bloody mess. I mean, Orton has to come out and leave R-Truth in a pool of his own blood. That is the only way you can reestablish a semblance of seriousness. You have Orton beat R-Truth pillar to post and just demolish R-Truth to the point where you the next week Cole and McAfee are saying R-Truth is out. We don't know if he's ever coming back. That's the only way that kind of restore a semblance of seriousness. And I really hope and pray that this does not continue. Because this was the only low spot in the entire pay-per-view. And the whole reason why this match went from 5 to 3. And I sincerely try to separate that, the finish from the match itself. But the implications that were put on this was it was too severe. It turned it into a joke. And it's an inexcusable whiff. That goodness gracious. I can't even. Oh my god. Hopefully we get the massacre of R-Truth on Monday night. And we can turn this back into a wrestling show instead of a circus. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching it on Rumble, like the video, follow the channel. And we'll see you next time.